Welcome to the Podunk Polymath, a podcast dedicated to the sentiments of a secular, sarcastic, screwed-up Southern SJW and skeptic. I'm your host, Chris. Come on in. This is episode 1 of the Podunk Polymath podcast. Thanks for joining me, and it's good to be back. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about, you may or may not recognize me from Unbuckling the Bible Belt, a show which I founded and co-hosted for a good while, and then I left the show because I needed a break, and I was causing drama because of my own baggage, and they didn't deserve to have that, so I left the show for the betterment of the show itself. But now I am putting away the baggage and starting my own show. And whatever that baggage was, I don't care, because I burned it at the door, and I'm starting fresh. So this podcast is going to be more oriented towards social justice issues, as I stated in the intro. Of course, I'm still identified as an atheist slash atheist. However, I am going to come at things more from the social aspect of things. So, a little info about what the show is going to be formatted as. We're going to have the intro here, the pre-ramble, as I like to call it. Then we'll have an interview called the Polymath Palaver. And then we'll have the wind-up at the end of the show where I'll give out the information for getting in contact with the show. So check that out. This week, as my guest, I have somebody that many of you may not know. But I'll let you wait till that section to find out who it is. The mission statement is that I would like not only to sit here and talk to people who know more shit than I do about certain subjects, but also how can we figure out a way to come up with solutions to any subjects we talk about. Stuff we can do as people, individuals, to help out causes that we talk about on the show. So I hope you enjoy the show. This is a little bit of a segue for me, I guess, because I'm doing this solo and I'm not used to it. So bear with me as far as how smooth I am with my vocals and if I stumble upon my speech at times. I also wanted to mention, you may have noticed that there is a certain personage as the icon for the show. The picture is of a gentleman named Charles Chilton Moore. He was an atheist, considered one of the fathers of atheism. He was from Kentucky. He had a newspaper called the Bluegrass Blade. He's one of the United States' first newspapers promoting atheism. He also went to trial because of some of his beliefs. He was all about some free love. He liked some blasphemy. He went to jail for a little while, but was commuted because of McKinley commuted the sentence. And he has an autobiography written in prison called Behind the Bars. His paper was widely circulated. It gained him notoriety among the religious and non-religious alike. He helped to promote arguments against much that is contained in the Bible. For example, geological evidence that Earth existed far before the date of October 23rd, 4004 BC, calculated by James Ussher from the Old Testament. His legal trials helped establish precedents in free speech law as it related to religious dissent. He was also big on social issues such as women's suffrage, prohibition. He wasn't totally perfect, but I chose him because he's a Southern boy, and he was a free thinker, and he was an atheist, and he seemed like a pretty cool dude, and he has a cool picture. So that's the patron saint of the show, Charles Chilton Moore. Go check him out. I got all the info from Wikipedia, incidentally. Go read his book, which I still need to go get. So anyway, having said all that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the palaver, the Polymath Palaver. That's what I call the interview section, because it's so clever. So stay tuned for that.
Hey y'all, this is Tucker from the Atheist in the Trailer Park podcast. And I might live in a beer can, but I ain't no inbred redneck. And if you listen to my podcast, I'm gonna learn you something. And no, I ain't talking about how to marry your cousin and not have kids with 16 fingers and stuff like that. I mean, I actually talk about real stuff and teach people where the Bible stole its stories from. So y'all give me a listen, would you? Thank you.
Hi, this is Trav Mamone, host of the By Any Means podcast. Join me every week as I interview bloggers, podcasters, writers, and activists about the intersections of atheism, humanism, racial justice, feminism, LGBTQ rights, and other social issues. You can subscribe to the podcast through iTunes, Spreaker, and Stitcher, and you can read my blog at freethoughtblogs.com/byanymeans. And remember, that's bi spelled B-I. Come take a listen to the musings of a queer humanist because, hey, aren't we all a little bi-curious?
Welcome to the premiere of the Polymath Palaver here on the Podunk Polymath podcast. It's going to take me a while to get that. I have with me this week somebody who does need an introduction because nobody really knows who she is except for me and Tucker from the Atheist in the Trailer Park. Of course, she did or does run the page on the Atheist in the Trailer Park Facebook page. She is a resident of the upper northeast somewhere in the U.S. I don't want to say exactly. In case she's being hunted by the FBI, I don't know. So anyway, I want to give to you my friend Jeannie Eichard.
Well done. And yeah, it's pretty much okay. I'm not shy about who and where I am pretty much anywhere.
Well, that's a positive. It's going to take me a while to get back into the groove of speaking, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, I would like to mention that you did help me in the formation of the name, the Podunk Polymath, and some of the concepts therein, I guess. Now,
Go ahead. And I picked out your music.
Well, I picked out the music. You picked out the bumpers, which will be used. What's the word I'm thinking of? Portions of excerpts that were going to be used as bumpers. Many things involved in the podcast, I'll just say that.
All right, fair enough.
But I wanted to have you on because, first of all, you, like I said, were there at the formation of this soon-to-be legendary podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think you deserve to be heard because you're on many people's pages or friends with many people that I'm friends with, but I don't think many people have really paid attention to you. You're not on Facebook a whole lot. You're kind of a...
Yeah, I fly under the radar, yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of a Luddite a little bit. You don't kind of stay away from technology.
I am, yep.
But we were talking, and you have mentioned that you are a big proponent of what we might call body positivity and more than adequate, excellent sex education.
Yes.
Which I assume you mean to be in schools, of course, and in general, of course, parents should do it, but all around just good education as regards to sex. What would you say your main thing with that is, your main synopsis?
My main synopsis? Know how your junk works and be able to communicate that.
That seems to be a pretty simple... You want to kind of expound on that a little bit? Maybe?
Sure. I'm a big fan of, masturbate, because that's a good way to know how your junk works. I would really, really like it if there was some sort of expectation within people in general that you'd say, like, hey, this is how my junk works. this is what makes me happy. What about you? Having good conversation about bodies, because every body is different.
Exactly. And I think we want to kind of bring into the mix why this is the case in this country. I think a lot of it has to do with our puritanical roots.
Yep, you think? Like, Australia, they got all the, the whores and the second sons or third sons or fourth sons. Yeah, we got the Puritans. That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
I think it very much does. And it also probably depends where in the country people live, like how our country is too big for what it is right now. Like, we are too diverse with too many backgrounds, or not enough backgrounds. I'm not quite sure which, but yeah, I think it has influenced all of us.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the case. I've often thought that this country is too big and kind of needs to be split up into different sections or something. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, except that you're in one of those sections that some of the rest of us
yeah, well,
I mind seeing go.
That's why you're going to put me up. So.
Yep, I have a fold-out couch.
Okay, so there we go. But yeah, I think, like I said, I've never understood this upset. I mean, we seem to be okay in this country with violence of all kinds.
Oh, ridiculously so, yeah.
But we seem to be so, when it comes to anything sexual, we're just scared shitless.
Yeah, there's no conversation. There's no expectation of it being normal, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's very awkward for a lot of people, and I think some of this may change with the millennials, perhaps, somewhat. I think there's more openness in a lot of ways, but I think, again, that depends upon the region of the country you're from, because I know here in the South, abstinence education
sucks.
Let me put that into, education is a joke.
That's spelled with a J, right?
Yeah, well, whatever little stereotype you want to use is probably true. It's really sad too. I mean, again, that has to do with the religions everywhere in the South, of course.
Yeah, I know.
That plays a big role in it. I mean, that's not to say every religion is. Well, most of them are. They like to control the sexual behavior of their congregants generally.
Which, drives me insane. Have they ever read the Bible? It's such a hypocritical viewpoint. And you know what? Big religion, big government, stay out of my bedroom except when you're having sex with people I don't want you to have sex with. Really? That's your issue?
Yeah, I don't know. It's disturbing in a lot of ways, and it's not just sex. I mean, it's not just where to put what to do, but it impacts people. I mean, it goes towards it harms people, in real ways, in very real ways.
No, and that's part of my problem with sex education is it doesn't really talk about it talks in terms of gender binary and in sex as penis in vagina. It doesn't talk about sex in so many other ways that are actually applicable to real people.
Exactly. And I think now that this conversation has kind of started around trans issues, I think people are taking another look at what sexuality actually is. Or I hope they are. Anyway, I mean, anybody who wants to look and not bury their head in the sand about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and that's part of it is, it disturbs me that there are men raping women on campuses and getting away with it. But it also disturbs me that there are people who just really don't want sex, and for them that's not okay either. Where is that disconnect? That people just can't be in their bodies and want what they want and have that be okay.
I don't know. A lot of that's it's a weird dichotomy. It's a weird paradox because, on one hand, we're so puritanical, but
I know.
but on the other hand, we're obsessed with sex in this country.
I know.
Sex sells everything. I mean, it's everywhere. And if you're not a sexual being, then you're somehow broken.
Oh, and it's not just if you're not a sexual being, but if you're not the right kind of sexual being, then you're broken. Like, I can't be like a little bit thick around the waist and still be sexual because you know what? I'm not hot because I'm not, 6'4" and 120 pounds with no boobs.
That's disgusting.
I know, right?
But no, okay, I shouldn't say that, and we shouldn't. To be
No.
fair, we shouldn't body shame anybody.
No, but the fact that like there's this really weird ideal that's going on and that's being perpetuated is causing a lot of people a lot of body shame and a lot of harm. And if that's right for your body, that's fine. But if it's not right for your body, then you know what? My attitude towards sex is this. If you don't want what I got, you don't get any. 'Cause I got a whole lot of everything. And I'm pretty good at what I do. And I like to think that I'm enthusiastic and I want to learn. But you know what? If you're thinking about the fact that I don't shave my legs, then either I'm doing something wrong or you're incredibly shallow. That's kind of what it comes down to.
Well, I mean, that's kind of
Nope.
it's a bit black or white.
Well, it is a little bit, but you know what? Like, I am in my body and I'm going to want to have sex and I'm going to want to have sex with people that I want to have sex with. And I want to have good sex when I'm doing it.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I don't see any problem with that. That's the way ideally that's the way it should be, but there are so many, like we were just kind of hit on a little bit, the body shaming, especially when it comes to women. Women have been body shamed from the beginning. Of course, that goes hand in hand with the idea that women are nothing but sexual objects to be enjoyed.
I think I lost you.
Are you still there?
Yep. It goes hand in hand with women that are, and then I lost you.
Okay. Hand in hand with women who are viewed as sexual objects.
Yeah. But it is true for women, very true, but it's also true for men as well. And I think that also has to change.
I think the whole thing, just the whole conversation, we just need to start over. I mean, of course, as I said in the beginning, this is an SJW podcast. And so this is just a kind of a part of the complex interweaving of different issues that we all have. And, of course, you could say the dirty phrase identity politics, which apparently, which is somehow verboten. And
I know.
You're aggressive left if you even mention it. Which you can kiss my ass if, I just don't. I don't look at things like that. I mean, people are not monoliths. They're different. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, and they should be, and acknowledged as such, and not just treated like, I have young friends that are in their mid-20s, and I have friends that are in their 50s, and it doesn't matter who they are as much as it matters. The surface stuff doesn't mean anything. It's who they are as people that means the most.
Yeah.
And, one of my friends is like, yeah, I'm totally into like ass sex. And, my boyfriend's going down on me tonight. And my other friend's like, yeah, I don't really want to have sex. And that's kind of okay. And it like everywhere in between, it's valid.
I mean, whatever you want to do, that was the idea I thought of the whole, free love movement. Everybody was just supposed to do whatever they wanted to do, But that seemed to hijack somewhat.
It did, yeah. I will not disagree with you on that one.
But now that something that I've noticed is body, like you said, body positivity, sex positivity. Which I will make an admission that I'm not the most. I'm not one of these people who like to speak about sexual things openly.
That's okay, honey. I am.
with a group of people.
It depends on the group, though.
No.
I mean, for me, it depends on the group.
It's just weird for me. It's something I like to keep private, and I think that's just because I'm a private person. I don't think it has anything to do with me being somehow repressed. I don't think. I mean,
Well, it might be slightly cultural.
it might be. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to kind of tease that out.
Well, and you have no outside perspective because you only have your own experience to deal with. So, like, how would you know, or how would I know, because I don't have your cultural experience either?
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
but there's something I found in the movement, in the atheist / skeptical, whatever you want to call it, movement, and the periphery, people that are related to that sort of movement, I guess you want to call it. And of course, I'm branching that out to the SJW / skeptical. I mean, there are different iterations, but I'm specifically speaking about this group of people because that's the ones I'm most familiar with. They seem to be, in general, more sex positive, and it's been an experience. It's been a learning experience for me because I've heard things that I don't. I'm kind of sheltered. I think I'm pretty sheltered when it comes to some things sexual. I mean, I thought I was fairly well versed, but apparently I'm not.
Well, no, I think that's fine as long as you accept that you have more things to learn, and there's always more things to learn. Being open to other people's experiences is like, that's part of the deal, I think.
Yeah. It's just, I bring that up only because it goes with the concept of just be who you do what you want, be who you want to be, and don't feel pressured to be. I've never felt pressured personally because I haven't been open, but then again, I'm a guy. I have a feeling that it's different for women, and that's another thing.
Yes, it is.
Misogyny, if we're going to go with this whole interweaving, misogyny plays a bigger role in some of this. I have seen Facebook, I have heard stories and seen screenshots on Facebook of women being mercilessly harassed, and I'm not just talking about outright just threatened because they won't speak a certain way to a guy they just met or something. And I don't understand the sense of entitlement. I mean, I can to an extent because it's cultural. It's a male-dominated society. It's very patriarchal.
Well, and it's very white too. So
yeah,
you kind of win on both of those accounts.
And what's another thing is, it's one thing to be confident in your body and body positive. Not everybody wants to see your body.
No, and I'm fine with that. Like, and that's where, like, if you don't want what I got, you don't get any.
Well, I only say that because some guys apparently sending dick pics out of nowhere. Hey, how you doing? And there's a dick pic.
Yeah, no, that's not cool. Because you know what?
That doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, that's that whole sense of entitlement that, people just think like, hey, so you want to see my penis? No, I really don't, because I don't think that you're valuable as a human, But like, personally, if I think that somebody's a worthy conversation and is interesting, I'm totally okay with saying, you know what? I would love to see your dick, but don't just send me one out of the blue. That's just rude.
Well, there's you who has to find a person valuable intellectually, and then there's some people who just want to get fucked every once in a while. So
that's true. Yeah.
So, but either way, regardless of where you're coming from and your state of mind, there's no place for dicks just being thrown at willy nilly.
Well, yeah, it gets messy real quick.
Oh, dick pics, and I just don't understand I've never understood the rational. is going through a guy's mind that says, okay, I have just met this woman. Or not even that. Sometimes out of the blue that you've never met this person.
Yep.
Just a dick pic.
Yeah. Thanks, but no. You know what? You have just self-selected out of my gene pool.
I just don't. I don't know.
No, like if you can't explain it as a guy, there's no way that I can explain it as a girl.
Oh, well, I don't think it has so much to do with gender per se. It's got more to do with just a state of mind that
Arrogance.
I don't even know if it's. I guess it's arrogant.
Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's actually looking for validation.
I guess.
I don't know. Like I'm stretching here. I have no idea.
Well, regardless, it's just silly to me.
And rude. Yes.
If you're going to send dick pics, at least they should be solicited, and that goes for any body part, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily want women necessarily, you know, sending me
throwing their badges at you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tell the truth on this.
Oh no.
I wouldn't care. Honestly.
Oh, perfect.
So, I'm not speaking for every guy, just like I'm not speaking for every woman. But
no, exactly.
Me myself, if somebody sent me a nice rack of boobs, I'm not gonna turn my nose up at that. But at the same time, if it's just for my, you know, for the physical, you're not going to necessarily take this person seriously as a potential
life partner.
Yeah, serious partner, because I mean, who the fuck does that, really?
Way too many people. You know this.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you off the bat, you're limiting yourself.
Yes.
You pretty much, you know, you've taken yourself down like all the way to the bottom of where I'm at as far as how I'm going to take you seriously.
Mm-hmm. You know? On the other hand, like, I really don't find anything wrong with like, hey, so like, here's a thing that I have and it's freely given. And if you want to spank to that, go at it. You know, like go have a good time, you know, enjoy this because I have this thing and it's an easy gift to give. So like, I really have no problem with porn. I have no problem with, people sending naked pictures to each other. I have no problem with the reason that I got shut up on Facebook. You know, it's like beautiful bodies just being bodies.
That plays into this sort of. So why don't you kind of briefly explain what happened? I think that's important.
So last week, a friend of mine sent me a link that was about a photo shoot that had been taken in 2014. One of those people happens to be somebody that I know through Facebook. Facebook warned me a couple times, like, hey, this might include nipples. You might want to take this down. So I took down the thumbnail. The next time I took down the link itself, but then gave the information for it. And when I woke up this morning, I was cut off from Facebook for 24 hours. Can't post. Can't like, can't message. I can just read what's going on. And the reason is because it was about a bunch of women who were just being body positive. Like no airbrushing, no filters, no extra lenses, no plastic surgery making them perfect. They were just women being women. And for this, because women have nipples, I got shut down. And the other two posts that I got warned about were one involving eggplants and saying, hey, so about the dick pics, like we were just talking about, like, hey, random dick pic, what do you think? No. Hey, so third time's the charm, random dick pic? Still no. And the third picture that they were warning me about was a picture from a video that I took of lightning.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That looked like a dragon breathing fire. Like, really seriously, somebody reported me for this? It's so ridiculous.
I mean, this is totally, you may not even get this reference, but I just got finished watching Person of Interest, the entire series or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I'm reminded of that show and the way the computer sees certain things, and it's basically an algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what pattern it's seeing there, because
No, I could very much see that this was maybe, instead of me seeing a dragon in the clouds spitting lightning, what it was seeing was a cock ejaculating in profile, like silhouette or something.
Look like that though, really? I
Well,
really get a good look at it.
Not to me, it doesn't, because I watched lightning happening. It was really awesome watching lightning shooting up and like through clouds and.
Well, maybe you got one you got on their radar.
I guess so. And now everything that I post is going to be suspect. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. And that's another thing. There's no fucking visibility. What's the word? There's no transparency or anything.
Yeah. Well, and I tried to get a hold of Facebook and say, like, hey, can we talk about this? And I sent out 2 messages, and I still, what is it now? 12 hours later, I still haven't gotten a response back.
Yeah,
from
you're
them.
not going to get. I mean, come on. There's 1 billion people on Facebook. They don't really care.
Yeah, I know, but I had to try. And you know what? Like, I'm shooting for my friend.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. When are you supposed to be able to get back on again?
10 o'clock Eastern Standard tomorrow morning. So I'm looking at about 12 hours from now.
Okay. That's still shitty, but.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know.
Did you get the part of my rant where I was like, you know what? If I don't get to have nipples, neither do my guy friends.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a meme of that not too long ago, and it's still floating around. It was showing a guy with nipples topless on the beach and a woman with nipples exposed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what the meme said, but it basically was making the point,
Hey, one's acceptable, the other's not.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so what's fucked up is in my state, it's legal to be naked as long as you're not getting caught getting undressed. You can be naked in public anywhere.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, according to the laws of Facebook, my post didn't violate any of my state laws.
Well, Facebook is its own country. So.
I know it is. I know. And I know that it is not just this country, and it's not just my state, but, I stayed within the rules of, I guess, my body positivity and my state rules. Like, nobody got seen getting undressed. So.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about actual sex education. Now, I mentioned briefly that, of course, in the South and of course, other conservative type places, abstinence education
sucks.
Is a thing.
Yes.
And it was endorsed under W as the main way to teach kids about sex, which basically is to tell them not to do it.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, exactly. However, and the statistics are there to prove it. I remember not too long ago hearing a story about somewhere here in Tennessee where a bunch of kids got chlamydia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, STDs are generally higher in places that don't practice educated, risk-aware decisions.
Well, no, and pregnancies are higher, STDs, all that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's sad.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not a victimless crime. I mean, there's a lot of kids whose lives are ruined basically. Well, I don't say kids ruin your lives per se, but you know what I'm saying. They don't they're not able to pursue the same opportunities because they're stuck with a kid.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, I am not, I opt not for having kids. On the other hand, I don't want anybody else to either be forced into that decision. Like I want people to make educated choices. I want people to have kids because they want to have kids, not just like, oh, oops, I forgot to wear a condom sometime. Like Planned Parenthood, support it. It should be legal. Getting elective sterilization should be state funded or federally funded. You know, if I wanted to not have kids since the time I was 25, and if I could have gotten that as an option, I would have taken it. Instead,
that's another thing. Shit. We'll come back to that. But,
okay. But in the meantime, we're talking about
sex education.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's look at Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Bless their hearts.
They made it free, and I believe their pregnancy rates dropped precipitously.
Oh, very much so. Because why people get to opt out of having kids without actually wanting them. You know, like, yeah. And yes, in my fascist/socialist view of the world, everybody would be taking birth control all the time, and you would have to apply to be able to have a kid. Like you don't just accidentally get to have a kid. You actually have to choose to do so. Okay, so I get that this is not feasible, because who gets to make that decision? Way not cool, because government isn't good at doing that kind of thing.
I know what you're saying.
But yeah, if everybody was taking birth control and chose kids on purpose, wouldn't that be a way better world to live in?
I would think so, yeah. But again, this logistics of it.
I know, it's not feasible, but utopia.
Yeah. If some way we could engineer ourselves as humans to be able to
not procreate and just have sex.
Yeah, like the Bene Gesserit. Of course, if you're not.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank Herbert.
I'm reading Dune again, so they can control their body processes. So.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect example of wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it'd be. I mean, I don't know. We humans fool themselves with thinking they have free will, but we really.
No, we're controlled by our monkey brain.
So I guess where we want to come down to the sex education thing is abstinence doesn't work. Abstinence education doesn't work. We need to go back and, like you said, as far as good education, and teach kids that it's okay to talk. Sex is a normal part of being a human being. Well,
yeah, we're gonna live, die, and have sex. That's how that thing works. This meat sack that happens to be walking around right now and pretending to be normal. We will be born, we will fuck, and we will die.
Yeah, and there's not much you can. You need to be able to express these things and to hide, and especially with kids, you make something taboo. Well, you're making it worse. You make them want to.
You're not kidding. You remember what it was like to be 13? Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't work. Now, if you bring it out in the open from the beginning, or sex positive, body positive, show kids there's just nothing wrong with being nude necessarily too. I mean, some parents are like that. They walk around, I mean, not all the time, but they're not afraid to be nude in front of their kids necessarily when they're younger, and it kind of gets them used to, to their own bodies. We as a culture have made our bodies something to be ashamed of.
Oh yeah, and fuck that.
And we don't, that's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying go one extreme or another. Everybody's naked all the time, or, everybody's in burqas.
No.
There's an in-between. There's an in-between between Saudi Arabia and, fucking Sweden or some shit. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, but I'm going to say, and I'm not even sure which northern country it is, and it might be Sweden. It's kind of expected that kids have overnight guests. That, there's not a tacit approval or disapproval of, hey, so kids are going to sexually experiment, but there kind of is. And so when they get grown up and ready for adult relationships, they've kind of tried some things out. And it's not like, hey, you fall in love with the first thing you stick your dick in, because that's not how that works. I don't think that's a bad model for, just get to play around, figure out how your junk functions, figure out how other people's junk functions, play with anything that kind of suits your fancy. And then when you're ready to actually be with somebody or some people, you have the tools to do that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's, like I said, this country, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Oh God, no. Thanks, Puritans.
We're way too puritanical on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It needs to be, and we need to be more and of course, with that kind of positivity comes a lot of other benefits as well. People are more comfortable in their sexuality. People are more comfortable expressing themselves or their sexuality. This fear of the other, of transgender, of lesbian, gay, of the different genders, all these different things would be less of a sort of an issue, because people would be more used to talking about these things. And that, of course, that's a big problem with a lot of things. When you don't talk about them, they tend and you keep them underground, kind of, they fester, and we don't get the facts out, and they say sunlight is the best disinfectant. We need to bring these things out into the open.
I'm with you on that, definitely. And prostitution, legalized prostitution would be amazing for this country. We're still not ready for it. I mean, we got Trump right now. Seriously, as a Republican candidate, we're so not ready for it. No. We're still way far away from actual legalized prostitution, where prostitutes get to choose their profession. They're health screened, they're professionals, they're respected. Wouldn't that be amazing if you could, so as just for the age of consent, say a 16-year-old person, for your birthday on a regular basis, like every 16-year-old for their birthday, their parents get them a prostitute or two. And or two. And just say hey, go explore some junk. You're going to have somebody help you, walk you through the paces and figure out how some shit works. And they're going to say this is how my body works. And this isn't how everybody that looks like mine kind of works. But here are some good tools for you to use in the future. I'm not at all a proponent of forced prostitution, but I am a big proponent of people who actually choose it as a way of living, because they just like having sex and being good to their sex partners. And I find zero things wrong with that. I like porn.
Righto. What is it I wanted to circle back around.
Please do.
To something we had started to talk about and didn't want to get bogged down. I like to try to keep things at least semi-linear, but as far as you're getting your tubes tied or whatever.
Elective sterilization, yeah.
Whatever it's called. This was recently on Promoting Secular Feminism. They talked about this.
Okay.
And I actually did a post on it before that show came out, and I was going on about how it's ridiculous that women have to can't get their tubes tied.
Oh yeah.
Because the doctors say they're not ready. It's so ridiculous. I mean, you're grown. You're an adult.
Oh no, I am that story.
You're another story. Okay.
Yeah, no, when I was 15, I knew that I was either going to have 2 kids by the time I was 25, or I was not going to have kids at all. And when I was 26 and had no kids and had been with a partner for, I want to say 6 years, maybe at that point, we elected to get him sterilized because it was cheaper, because he was older, because it would be less time in the hospital. And granted, this is in the 90s, so there has been progress in surgery since then for women. But yeah, it was kind of like a financial decision. And I really, really wish that I had pushed for me getting sterilized instead, because I just, like, I like kids. I like other people's kids mostly. Sometimes I just don't want to have them myself. And at this point I'm mid-40s and I'm not going to have kids, and I still have to not just wear condoms for STIs, but I also have to wear condoms, or have other people wear condoms, because of pregnancy, because I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, I mean, it really just pissed me off, and it's mostly women. But guys, too, apparently that's happened. They tell them they're too young to make that decision about your own fucking body.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the other crazy thing is that with men, it's much more reversible than it is with women. So why not? Why not just let that, like, somebody says, hey, so I'm pretty sure I don't want to ever have kids, period. You take them through a couple of tests. Like, it's not just a whim. Like, respect that.
Yeah.
Have I changed my mind since I was 15 about having kids? No. I really don't want them.
I mean, there ought to be some sort of, like with the legal age of consent with anything else. I don't know why that would be any different than.
Oh, that's a whole other topic, honey. The legal age of consent and how it varies. Oh.
Well, that's true. But I mean, I'm saying as far as that cutoff or whatever, but.
I know.
I mean, that goes with anything else too. I mean, it's basically you're making a woman. Her only importance is to have babies and be a mother.
Yep. And I can't opt out without a man's permission. That's kind of fucked up.
I don't. And she was saying on the show the last episode I was listening to, the episode before that in the state there was a bunch of Catholic hospitals.
Oh.
And that made it even fucking worse.
Oh, you don't even have to go there. Like, I'm following you every step of the way, in between the lines.
Yeah, and they said there, well, I have to. They basically have to go ask permission. From a bunch of fucking Catholic, whatever, board members, I guess.
Yep.
On whether or not I can do something to my own fucking body.
Yeah, you have to get a hall pass because, you're not trusted to be an actual self-realized adult.
Yeah. So this is another example of I don't want to make the focus of this anti-religion per se, but there are certain aspects I'm trying to.
I'm not.
I'm still an anti-theist, okay, but that's not the focus of the show. The way they control people based upon sex, and that's not the only thing. But.
Well, it's about social justice for you.
Well, yeah, I mean that plays a role as well, but you can't deny the fact that they have gone out of their way. Religious institutions have gone out of their way to make sure they don't have to fucking fund birth control and everything else. I mean, it's ridiculous, the shit. The Hobby Lobby decision, or numerous other things that have been passed, just so they don't have to get their morality challenged or whatever the fuck.
You know what? This is that's another whole conversation. Is I have some Christian friends who are 100% behind the separation of church and state, and that to me kind of is the critical factor in almost any of my friends, I guess. Like, I believe that should be so. That is how we were set up. That is part of why we were founded. I will let them have their religion if that makes them happy and better people, but I don't want people telling me what I should do in my bedroom or with my vagina or with my ovaries or with my uterus. That's just kind of ridiculous.
It is. And I don't care who it is, what institution.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I mean, it's about bodily autonomy. That's what it's about.
Yes.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that that's not interfered with.
Yeah. And that could be true. Like if there was somebody on the left-wing politic spectrum that wanted to interfere with my body politics, no, you don't get to do that. Because I don't really care who you're sleeping with or why or how. You shouldn't care about what I'm doing with my body either. Because it's personal. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing, well, other than religion makes it so. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with your relationships. It only has to do with mine. And unless I'm fucking you, you don't get to have a say.
Yeah, it's not what it's about. It's about power. It's about they want to have power over somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's true when it regards the ideology.
That's true.
I mean, there are plenty of religious people who, like you said, are for the separation of church and state because they recognize what would happen if that was not the case. Let's just look at Saudi Arabia, for example. You want to go to that? I mean, I don't think most people would.
Well, most people who pay attention, would opt out of that because, it's not a good system.
Yeah, that's pretty...
Sorry, that was pretty mild, huh?
Yeah, that's just not a good system.
Yeah. I'm going to opt out of that one.
If you could just not beat me senselessly for showing my ankle, that'd be great.
I know. Oh, yeah, P.S. Women might have nipples. I hate to break it to you.
So, let's kind of bring it back to the whole idea of this country needing, to me, sort of a new sexual revolution.
Okay, that's not going to happen with...
Okay, but I know it's not going to happen right now, but I'm not even talking about necessarily free love and all that shit. I'm talking more about education. I'm talking more about people talking about it, about laws that enable people to more easily just define themselves sexually, or more better education, like you said, better education, more moves towards body positive shit.
Oh no, I think we're almost there, but it's not going to be my generation.
Oh no.
I'm waiting for 90% of my generation to die off or above that, because they're just a bunch of fuckers that don't get it.
Yeah, they probably don't. That's probably a problem.
I know, right? And I feel bad that I'm kind of there are other people that are holdouts as well, but most people, and oh God, this is so terrible to say, but most people older than me don't get it. They don't understand. There's no compassion. There's no,
no empathy, really.
Yeah. It's they have hive mind. And that's not a bad thing to have, but it's not a good thing in this kind of situation either. I think that hive mind is valuable in some instances, but it's really good to have people that can think outside the box and have transgender friends, and have people that are asexual, and have people that are non-binary, and the more people that have those, the better the world gets. And that's not most of what my generation sees. Like, there's no empathy, there's no compassion, there's little empathy, there's little compassion.
Well, I think the empathy gap's a big problem regardless in a lot of ways, but I'm hoping that the internet has done a lot to help disperse information.
Amen.
So,
but
whether people...
I think that inquiring minds help that almost more than anything else. Like the fact that people want to learn, that people want to understand, that people want to explore other people's boundaries is more than just the internet.
Yeah, I mean, humans are curious. We're a curious species. Unless we're,
dogmatic.
Inhibited by certain ideologies that keep us from thinking for ourselves, which is part of the problem.
It is. Yeah, and there's like the only thing we can do is like push that stone uphill slowly. Like every time that you say something like, "Hey, dude, like that's not cool." Like you don't get to say that about my friend in front of me. You can think that all you want in private, but right now that's not okay. It's all those like small steps, and that's true for anything that is minority, that like is not white male culture in the U.S. right now. And the white male culture is becoming a minority really fast, and they just haven't realized it yet. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, they've had their day. They're just not a majority of the population, and that's part of the reasons. Trump has become so popular.
Yeah, because people are afraid.
Yeah, this just comes down to fear, and he just feeds right into that fear. But anyway, let's not. That's a whole other show.
Yeah, it is. So did I answer all your questions about why I'm sex positive and what I want to do to make the world a better place?
I think so. If you had some advice for people, what they could, and incidentally, this is a side note, that's part of the show, is going to be looking for what you can do to bring about these changes, whatever they may be. So.
Okay. So my advice to people who want to be sex positive is talk about it, learn how to masturbate. If you're a penis haver, wrap your junk, bring your own condoms, and know what size and flavor you like, because it's really kind of nice. It's not presumptuous. Bring your own.
Okay. Fair enough.
Did that cover it?
Yeah. And I think people also, as far as what you can do, and this goes to the whole body positive part, don't body shame people because of the way they look.
Oh, God, no.
When people start talking that shit in front of you, you don't have to necessarily be a dick about it, but.
No, but just say like, hey, dude, like that's not cool. Like, yeah.
People can change minds that way. I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, one person at a time. Don't body shame people. Don't be necessarily afraid to talk about sex. Don't sit there.
Wait, you're saying this?
I'm just saying if it's in your comfort zone.
Oh, okay.
Don't be afraid to, and if you have a partner, don't be afraid to talk about those issues.
Oh, especially if you have a partner.
Well, you need to talk about those issues.
Yeah, well, yeah. And say like, hey, so just so you know, like, this is kind of a weird thing for me, and I'm going to try it, and it's going to be kind of weird, and we're going to laugh, and you're going to hopefully not make fun of me. But yeah, no, like, go have good sex.
Yeah. And I think it's also important that we get out there. I mean, everybody's on social media now.
Yeah, except for me right now.
Well, most people. And if you see something in the media, if you see something Like these fucking magazines like Cosmo or whatever.
Oh my God.
I haven't read that in forever, but I'm saying who promote a body image that's just unrealistic or whatever.
Mm.
Make your voices heard. I mean,
or bad sex advice. Like,
or whatever, anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you really don't have to shoot marbles up his ass to make him come. I guarantee it.
Okay, what are you reading?
No, I think that was like a Cosmo from a while back.
Oh, okay. We're just going to leave that alone.
Yeah, you're going to drop that one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just express, look, this is not cool. You're body shaming. That's, you're misleading people.
Yeah, don't give people bad information. Like, if you don't come, don't come. Just say like, hey, so that was like really close and like A for effort and, maybe next time, but like, don't fake it.
Yeah, fake it. I never understood that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, just own your body. Like, it's okay.
Just be you, man. Just, you do you.
You do you. Yes.
You do you.
Well, no, you do me. And then we'll trade.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway. So, thanks for coming on, Jeannie.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still doing the page? Tucker's page?
I get on the page frequently, but I often don't post because it's kind of weird if, as a moderator, I like something. If I do post anything, I usually post as, Jay says, or something like that, so that people can know that this is not Tucker talking, this is somebody else. He tends to post a lot of memes. I tend to post a lot more commentary.
Okay. So, if you go to the Atheist in the Trailer Park website, which go check that out, that podcast out as well, which I was on not too long ago, incidentally.
The Atheist in the Trailer Park podcast.
Yes.
And
.com. You were the voice at the end, I believe, giving the info about the show.
Yes, I am.
So I might utilize your voice for other things. So we'll see. If you're lucky. You're lucky. So, yeah. Check out his podcast. Check her out. See if you can find her little post with little Jay. It's usually the ones that are not that intelligent. And I'm sorry.
Them's fighting words, honey.
That was obviously.
Don't worry, I hit like a girl.
Okay. So anyway, well, thanks for coming on and having this kind of conversation, kind of off the cuff almost at the last minute.
Yeah, that pretty much was.
Yeah. So hopefully have you on again. We'll talk about something else.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
All right.
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky, we'll appreciate that. All right. Take care, Jeannie.
Yeah. Have a good night, Chris.
Too. Bye. That's going to do it for this inaugural episode of the Podunk Polymath Podcast. Come check me out on Facebook / the Podunk Polymath. Of course, you can check out my website, thepodunkpolymath.com, which is also my blog. Hit me up on Twitter at podunkpolymath. You can email me at podunk.polymath@gmail.com. There's a call-in line, 615-378-POPO 7676. And you can check out my soon-to-be coming up Patreon page, which I haven't set up yet, but will shortly. And that's almost certainly going to be / the Podunk Polymath. So pretty much anywhere, search the Podunk Polymath, you'll find it. It'll soon be on iTunes and Stitcher, no doubt. And all those other outlets. Also, of course, you can check out the RSS feed, which I'm going to put buttons up on the page for all that good stuff. And I'm going to put a donate button, too, if you feel so inclined to give me some money other than Patreon, which I'm sure you will because I'm so awesome. So, thanks again for joining me. I have to say it's great to get back into this. I have missed it. And y'all take it easy.